Hi, welcome back to the channel. This is Jen, your Medicare and retirement guide. And today we're going to be talking about pretty much at any age, the biggest insecurity of our generation and future generations and generations to come, money, and how to properly plan around it, and why is it so difficult to retire at 65 with a Social Security check. If this is something that has interested you for whatever reason, please continue watching and like and subscribe to the video. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump into it. So I'm actually very excited to do this video, not because of the subject matter, or maybe because of the subject matter, but mainly because I'm pretty sure that all of us have seen that nice little old lady, that nice little old man at Walmart, at Costco, checking your receipt, you know, as you leave, and you're like, oh, that's nice that they want to keep busy in their old age. Probably not. They're most likely working there because their Social Security check is not cutting it. The cost of living has become astronomical, and then I don't know when you're watching this, but every week there's a new tariff law here in the US, so I don't know when you're going to be watching this, but definitely I'm going to be dating myself by saying this. Yeah, we have no idea how those tariffs are going to impact us because every week it changes. So inflation is still running rampant, and eggs are still $8 for a dozen. So with those types of prices going on now, yeah, 40% of what you used to make before doesn't sound like a soundproof way of retirement when you're only relying on that Social Security check. Most money experts predict that you will be needing 70 to 80% of what you previously made before in order to live comfortably, not extravagant, comfortably. So this is the money gap. The money gap of what Social Security is going to offer you versus what you were used to before your retirement. So making these plans at a younger age is going to give you the advantage of when your older self retires, and hopefully by then we'll figure out this tariff and inflation crap. But if we don't, at least you're ahead of the game and you have plans in place so that you have multiple revenue streams of money coming in, so you don't have to solely rely on that Social Security check. So this video is very special because depending on who you are watching this, I'm going to be trying to talk to every single generation. I know my channel is very geared towards Medicare and retirement, but this also applies to folks in their younger years thinking about their older selves, which is something that I think a lot of us don't do quite that often, mainly because we never think we're ever going to get there. We're going to be cute young Instagram models for the rest of our lives. No, you're not. So what can you do now to prepare for when you retire, and what can your parents do now, or how can you, as their child, grandchild, go ahead and figure out, you know, that proper conversation to have of how are you going to pay your bills when you retire, mom and dad? What about grandma and grandpa? What are they gonna live off of? If this is something that you've been thinking about, continue watching, because we're gonna go into different ways that you can go ahead and strategize things for yourself, for your loved ones, for your friends and family, so that you don't get caught off guard with the moment you have to decide when to retire. So I'm gonna mainly focus on, you know, personal experiences and conversations that I've had with my clients, especially this past week. So I represent, you know, multiple states, but I mainly focus my business here in my home state of California. Don't roll your eyes. I know I saw you rolling your eyes. We live in a very expensive state, so I have to think about, you know, different ways that my clients are receiving their income and what benefits they qualify for the state. You know, the dollar doesn't go as far as it used to, and like I said before multiple times in this video, you know, we have to think about inflation, we have to think about tariffs and our cost of living. So I always ask my clients, you know, please take a look at your Social Security. How much money are you making off of your Social Security, really? Do you have a pension? Are you still going to work beyond the age of 65 and receive that pension? You know, you're going to get taxed on that pension if you continue working. Have you ever thought about rolling it over into an annuity so it can gain a little bit more interest? So then when you finally retire, you have a really nice check coming in from a lifetime payment from an annuity. If they want to leave a legacy for their kids, what kind of legacy do you want to leave? Do you want a life insurance policy? Do you want an index universal account? Do you want term life? There's so many different pathways to build different paths of revenue or different funnels of revenue for yourself so that you're not caught off guard, and then you can actually retire and find purpose in doing things that you actually wanted to do. You know, I think one of the things that most people take it granted is, oh, when you retire, you become bored. Well, here's the thing. When our whole economy is based on your identity of work, when you retire, you never actually think about you as a person. What are things that you like to actually enjoy? What are hobbies that you actually wanted to explore if you didn't have a job? The awful truth is that a lot of these folks can't even do that when they turn 65 because they just don't have enough money, or more specifically, they have a condition, a healthcare condition that they didn't plan for, or they thought that it would just never happen to them. Those health costs now become their entire well-being. Their whole bank account is just gone. So when things like that occur, the planning goes into play the moment that it's too late. So one of the things that I really recommend my clients is you need to start thinking about how it is that you are going to utilize your money, and really how long do you actually believe that you're going to live without a chronic condition, because that's really the name of the game here. We are all going to die. That's an inevitable fact. That is all of our destinies. No one can change that. But how we get there and how much money we are willing to invest in that is the real question that you have to ask yourself at any age, minus when you turn 65. When you're at 65, that's a little late. It's not impossible. It is not impossible, but it is a little late, and you have to put in a little bit of extra money to do that. And unfortunately, we're in an economy that a lot of seniors are not in that privileged position to go ahead and roll over money to save for their 70, 75, 85-year-old selves, because they've just been living paycheck to paycheck without investing that money into places that will make them money. So I'm going to use a very personal example that's very near and dear to my heart, and I'm going to do my best to make it through it without shedding a single tear, because this is too important. So I'm going to use my mom for example. So my mom turned 65 and she did not sign up for Medicare. She didn't sign up because she couldn't afford the monthly premium. She was a homeowner, and California is an asset recovery state. So that means if she utilized any of the major benefits of Medi-Cal, which is our state's Medicaid system, they can